Wheel Pump, soluciones que fluyen.
I want to welcome everyone. My name is Greg Teague. I'm the Southeast Regional Sales Manager at Zoeller Pump Company. We appreciate you joining us for this package systems and basins overview webinar. Before we start, I wanted to cover a few details. Please note the email address written below the title on your screen. Should you have any questions after we wrap up today, you can send those to webinars@zoeller.com. and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Now that those details are covered, I want to start off by telling you a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Greg Teague. I have a bachelor's degree from Indiana Wesleyan University in business administration. I've been with Zoeller now for over 15 years. I actually started in our engineered products division and currently hold the role of Southeast Regional Sales Manager, where I cover the territory that basically goes from Kentucky all the way south to Florida and as far west as Texas. So now that you know a little bit more about my background, let's go ahead and get started. Again, today we're going to be covering our basin systems and packages. We wanted to start off by talking about our professional grade residential sewage and grinder systems. Most people are familiar with these systems. We refer to them as our 912 packages and our 915 packages. The 912 package systems are available with a variety of different pumps. They come with our 911 and 912, 264s, and our 266 sewage ejector pumps. These are 2-inch solids passing, 115-volt single-phase sewage pumps that can come with either our snap action piggyback float or snap action switch, a piggyback float switch, or one of our floatless switch setups. When we refer to the 915 systems, those are going to be our residential fractional horsepower grinder pumps. Those come with our models 803, 805, and 807, which are a half, 3/4, and 1 horsepower pump to go with that. Those are also 115-volt single-phase pumps, and these can be used in a variety of residential applications. The big advantage of the 912 and 915 systems both, as you can see here by the pictures, are really, we can configure these systems to meet a variety of different applications and the needs of the contractors or the customer end user. These systems here that we're showing are all in our 18x30 package systems. As you can see, we have a variety of different discharge options available. The ones that show with the discharge coming through the top, generally those are going to be for indoor applications. So you'll see the discharge pipe coming through the top, and then you'll also see a secondary pipe which can be used for a vent opening. And then the one on the far right there has a side discharge, and those can be used for outdoor applications where you didn't want your pipe sticking up through the ground and possibly so they're buried inside. The big advantages of the 912 and 915 systems is, again, they have a variety of choices available. They come pre-packaged from Zoeller with the Schedule 80 PVC pipe already included. That makes for a very easy install. Because of the way these systems are set up, it makes for a fast delivery from us, which also saves labor time, and it reduces the possibility of error during the install. These systems are kind of made to plug and play type systems in a lot of ways, in that they can just be buried and filled in around, and they're kind of ready to go because of their 115 volts. They plug into most standard outlets. Most of these systems will come with some kind of an inlet pipe seal, so that for your inlet pipe, and they're ready to go. Very easy to use, very easy to access. Most of our systems come with a steel cover. On a lot of our indoor systems, we actually use a premium indoor cover that's split. The split cover allows for an ease of access so that you can actually get to the pumps with relative ease. We actually go as far in a lot of these, because we are installing the discharge pipe within the pump system, that we will go ahead and pre-drill the weep hole for you. so that you don't have to worry about airlock or anything of that nature once it's out in the field. Again, it's a plug and play system. It's kind of ready to go, and we can build these in literally hundreds of different configurations and shapes and sizes. With the 912 and 915s, one of the systems we're extremely excited to talk about today are our brand new 24 by 24 prepackaged systems. The 24 by 24 systems were a system that really came out of a joint effort between our engineering department, our sales reps, and even contractors' input. We heard what the contractors were asking for. We heard options and features that they were looking for in a pump system, and we were able to incorporate most of those things into our 24 by 24 package, and we couldn't be more excited to offer this and introduce this out into the market. As you can see here, the big difference between the 24 by 24 and the 18 by 30 is going to be in the cover setup. As you can see here by the cover, on the one on the right, you can see that it comes with a clear construction cover. That clear construction cover is held on by a small set screw. So after installation, that cover can be easily removed. It can be either torn away or you can remove the set screw and remove it. The construction cover really protects the system from any type of debris or masonry work that might be doing on an indoor system where they're doing masonry work around it in the floor, or if you're outside and there's dirt and debris. It really protects all that stuff from getting inside the pump and inside the system, because those things can definitely cause problems with our pumps later down the road. The other thing you'll notice is our the green meatball right there, the Zoeller meatball. That is actually an easily removable access port. It turns very easily. It's not bolted down like a lot of our competitors, so it just turns and is removable. At that time, you have access to the pumps. You can actually get to the pumps, see the pumps, any of the float systems, things like that. You also notice we have two different pre-drilled 2-inch openings. One of those would be for the pump itself, for the discharge pipe. The other one would be set up as a vent opening for the pump. If it's an indoor application, they require a vent. You also notice a spot kind of at the top of the cover there. Hard to see, but there's actually a pilot hole in the middle of that. If for some reason you needed an additional inlet, or we had to drill an additional vent opening or something like that, we actually have area there set up already made for that. One of the parts that I'm really excited about, and I think the contractors will be happy to hear about, is the little stainless steel tag that's affixed to the middle of the cover there. A lot of times with our systems, and I guess anybody's systems really, a plumber goes out to a job site. Usually when they get a call, that means something's wrong. Customer tells them, hey, my pump's not working for whatever reason. The plumber opens up the pit. They call Zoeller, they call their local sales rep, they call the wholesaler they bought it from, whomever. And then usually the first question from us is going to be, well, what kind of pump is it? A lot of times the plumber's going to be like, I don't know. The pit's full. We all know what's inside the pit. So a lot of plumbers not excited about sticking their hands down in there. So again, it's very hard to determine and identify what kind of product is in there. With this stainless steel tag, we actually have the model number of the system itself. So whether it's a 912 or a 915 system, the actual model number is actually printed on there. But it also has just the pump information. So it'll tell you the pump model, all the electrical components, anything like that that you need to know are also put in through there. One of the nice things there also, and you can't really see it real well, but at the bottom of that stainless steel tag is actually an area for the contractor to include their name and their contact information. So they can actually affix that to it as well. Once they install it, if something happened, the homeowner has a number. They don't have to try to remember who installed it. If it's a new construction or something like that, that information can be put on there as well, which is really nice. With this view, you can kind of get a better view of The construction cover, as you see it up there. And again, once that's removed, it can be thrown away. You can see the access port. The two small blocks that you see there are cord grommets and cord seals that we can provide. We provide those for the system, obviously to make an airtight seal around those cords so that no odors or anything like that can escape the system, and it keeps the system airtight and tight, and you don't have any issues. Again, the nice thing with the inspection plate is that it's removable by just a little twist. You don't have to unbolt anything of that nature. One of the items you can see that's real nice there is the removable float tree. So once you remove that inspection plate, you can actually see there's a white PVC spring-loaded float tree. That float tree is easy to put in and put out. You just give it a little push, pops in and pops out of the same place. So that way you can actually remove those floats. Depending on the type of pump you're using with the type of floats you'll have, you'll see this system here actually has a couple floats. That would tell me that it's usually got one float for the pump operation. And this system probably is using some type of a high water alarm. So that's with the secondary float. So if you have to adjust those in any way, that float tree is really easy to get in and out of there. And you can make that adjustment without having to, again, take the entire lid off and have to go down there and mess with something. You'll also see that they're around the top and bottom, especially around the top of the basin itself. There's a 360-degree molded handle. That makes it easy for moving this system around. You gotta get it on and off a truck, or if you're moving it around a warehouse, anything like that. But once that's installed and you actually backfill around this basin, that molded handle actually will act as an AFD or an anti-flotation device. And you'll see we'll also have an anti-flotation lip along the bottom portion of that basin as well. The system would come, as you can see where there in kind of the front, you'll see that we actually have an inlet that's already installed and ready to go. But you'll also see on the right-hand side of that basin there that there's a flat surface there, and there's one on all three of the other sides to where you can actually drill any additional inlets that you might need, anything like that, which makes it really well. Again, with just similar to all of our 912s and 915 systems, we use Schedule 80 PVC piping in there. Here's a cutaway of both the systems. Now, one of the nice things that we haven't really talked about yet with these systems is for the 912 systems, we can actually do these systems in a duplex. Right now, that's only available in the 912s. Those systems would use what we call our residential alternator. The pumps plug into the residential alternator, and it allows those pumps to alternate back and forth every cycle, just like a standard duplex system would. Again, can't reiterate, only available on the sewage pumps right now. We do not have an alternator that works with the grinders as of yet, but we're working on it. One of the other things you'll see if you kind of look in the simplex package there is you'll see the molded torque stops that are in the bottom of the pump. You get a good view of the float tree there. The float tree actually has a small stop area that where you put the tree where it goes in, so it fits in there, it doesn't move around. But you also have those molded torque stops for the legs of the pump. Any pump as it comes on, because of the turning of the impeller, has a tendency to want to twist the pump or move the pump around. We've actually seen in the past where a pump comes on, and if it's not secured in some way, if the pipe's not glued properly or something like that, it can actually start to untwist itself from the piping. Because of those torque stops, now this pump's not going to have a room. It's going to move around. It's going to make it a little more stable. It's going to keep that pump in place. One of the things we get asked a lot about the 24, one of the advantages of the 24 by 24 package over the 18 by 30 is the depth of the package. Again, because it's only 24 inches deep, you don't have to dig as deep. It doesn't have to be set in the ground as deep, or especially if it's going on an indoor application and you're jackhammering up a basement or you're doing something with concrete, it doesn't have to go as deep in the ground. We still have about a 41 gallon capacity on the 24 by 24. And one thing that I reiterate, and I kind of mentioned earlier, is with the, you'll see with the 2-float system, again, we offer these packages with and without alarms. So we have a variety of different alarms that you can use as well. And we offer, similar to the other 912 and 915 systems, we give you a couple of options, you know, again, not only with just the pumps that you can use inside these systems, but you can get these systems with a variety of different alarm packages and things of that nature. Here are just a couple of the parts and the model numbers of the 912s and 915 systems. Again, just like our other slides that we showed, you'll see that these pumps are available with a variety of different pump options, from our 410s, 264 pumps, to our half horsepower 266s on the 912s. We will also have these pumps available with the 211s and 212s. And then we also have on the 915s, you'll see we use all of our fractional grinders, whether it be the 803s, the 805s, or the 807s. And we offer them in a variety of different switch technologies. If you're not familiar, the M stands for our snap action, the white float switch that most of you people are familiar with Zoeller, our standard snap action switch. The BN model would use a tethered piggyback float switch. So you would have a little more ability to adjust that system and with the floats itself, and that's where the BN system comes in as well. And then you'll also see in the far right-hand corner, it tells you whether that particular model number comes with an alarm or does not come with an alarm. The next system we want to talk about is another one that I get a little excited about because of my territory, but this is our QLS series. The QLS series is a complete fiberglass packaged system that is a complete system, where the 912s and the 915s, generally because those pumps are 115 volt, obviously they don't use control panels and things of that nature. The QLS series comes as a complete package for job ready sites and can be used in everything from some residential applications, but where it really fits in are the commercial applications and the commercial uses that we can use for the QLSs. One thing that changed on the QLS, one thing that we use is we actually provide our sales rep force with a computer program. This is what the home page looks like to them. This allows them to actually design and build the complete system from start to finish. As you can see there, most of the menus you can't really tell, but on the yellow on the left-hand side, most of those boxes are a drop-down menu, so they can choose whether it's a simplex or a duplex system. They can choose the diameter and the depth of the basin. We can actually also, on a lot of these systems, we can change the depth of the discharge piping. And then we can pick what kind of cover we want it. We can choose the pumps that we want to use in the system. And as we do that, the computer program is actually building that system for our rep. Not only will it generate them a price in a very timely manner so they can get prices and quotes out quickly, but as you see here, as you change the details, it actually gives you a line drawing that goes with it. So you'll see there on the right, you've got a line drawing of the basin that has all the dimensions and everything there. If you actually put in the flow and total dynamic head and the static head in the design point section there, it will actually go to whichever pump you've selected and draw a systems curve and actually provide you with the pump performance as well, which is a nice feature as well. What you can't see here is there's actually another tab that the reps can actually print this out. And what they can do is that provides an area at the bottom of the sheet so that drawing can be signed off on. So a lot of times, because these packages are larger package systems, now we're talking fiberglass, big systems, we require at Zoeller, normally we'll require some kind of a signed submittal just before we start building this thing, just to cover our basis. And you can do that with the system as well. Again, the QLS systems, What we tried to do with the QLS systems is use the most popular sizes and shapes that we use on a daily basis. These are complete package systems, so these come completely job ready. All these systems use our Z-Rail system. Our Z-Rail is a powder coated, as you can see, the green powder coated rail system. We use a dual guide rail system, where a lot of our competitors use a single guide rail system. We use a two guide rail system simply because we think it allows for added stability of those pumps. If you're not familiar with the rail system, what the rail system does is it allows you the ability to insert and remove the pump without actually having to go down in the pit. That's very nice for maintenance type applications, things of that nature. If you had to do some maintenance on the pump, you pull it out and nobody has to go down into the dirty water or the sewage and pull it out. Again, a lot of our competition uses a single guide system. Well, the problem with the single guide system is most of these pumps now, especially if we're talking about some of the larger commercial pumps that we offer, these pumps can weigh anywhere from 80 to 120 pounds. On the single guide system, the pumps may tend to swing around or something like that. If I have a cast iron pump hit the side of a fiberglass basin with a little bit of force, you can crack that basin fairly simply, or if it was able to hit any of the piping or anything like that. So that's why we use the dual guide system. As you can see here, again, also available simplex and duplex applications. These systems would come with, again, the rail system. You'll see it has the piping. So again, we're using the Schedule 80 PVC piping. These systems are a little different because they'll actually have your check valve and a ball valve installed. We also provide an inlet. We can do it with either a pipe seal or a cast iron inlet hub. Those are other options that are available. That is really the only thing that we don't install on these systems at the factory. They come pre-assembled with the rails and everything already put in there. The only reason we don't put the inlet hub or the inlet pipe seal in at the factory is because regardless of how much you tell us, hey, the inlet's going to come in at 3 feet below grade or whatever, you're going to get out the job site and the inlet's probably going to be 3 feet 4 inches, or it's going to be off by a couple inches. So basically we provide that loose. All you have to have is a hole saw, and they drill that, put a hole saw on it, and they can insert that, and it's real simple. You also see, you can kind of see on the simplex one there on the cutaway, if you look to the left of the simplex, that's actually a float tree that's on there. The float tree is attached to the side of the basin, but it's the PVC float tree that we will actually preset the floats at the factory. So again, when this comes to you, the floats will be installed and preset. But if for some reason you needed to adjust those floats throughout operation, the float tree, very easy. It snaps in and snaps out. They can pull it in, take it out. We'll also provide the pump with, as you can see there, we'll also provide the pump with a lifting cable, which can help you pull that in and out. On the basins themselves, on the Z-Rail, again, we're talking fiberglass basins. One of the nice things is we do give you a pretty wide variety of sizes that you can use on these basins. As you can see here, we go from anything from a 24-inch in diameter up to a 48-inch in diameter, and we can go as deep as from 48 inches all the way out to 120 inches deep. This covers a wide variety of options when it comes to these prepackaged systems. And again, these are all pre-made and pre-put together at Zoeller. The real advantage there is nobody has to go down into a pit. It comes job ready. Again, it's dig a hole, make your electrical connections, and you're kind of ready to go. All of our systems will come, again, similar to what we talked about with the 912s and 915s. They'll have a fiberglass AFD ring that's around the bottom of the pit. You'll see it on there. It's a little wider than the diameter of the whatever the diameter of the actual basin is. And again, what that's meant to do is, as you install that system and you backfill around it, if you're in an area where you have a very high water table, if you did not have that and you did not backfill properly around it, that system can actually float up out of the ground. So this gives us the ability to put the system in the ground, backfill, makes it a little more stable. And again, as I said earlier, just to reiterate, we use Schedule 80 PVC on all these systems as well. Another option that you have here is we have some different covers as options. You'll see here we offer a fiberglass cover, a steel hatch cover, and an aluminum hatch cover, depending on what their particular needs are and what they're looking for. One of the nice things that I really like with the QLS system is, going back to the computer system that we provide, is it is almost foolproof system. So in the old days, you know, you would have to pick out a basin, and you would have to pick out a cover, and you would have to pick out all these things to go with it. But then when you put them all together, if they didn't match up right, you might put the wrong cover on a system and the pump wouldn't fit through the cover, or the cover wasn't made for a duplex, so it didn't have a large enough hatch. The QLS computer program that we provide our reps and that we use internally at Zoeller as well kind of eliminates all that. It won't allow for a pump to be used with the wrong cover, or if you can't fit a duplex of a certain pump in a certain size basin. It covers all that. If you try to do something you can't do, it'll give you an error message and you can't do it. The other nice thing here with the QLS systems is the variety of pumps. So we use a larger variety of pumps here, including, we started the system, we actually, when we first introduced this a couple years back, we just did it for our grinder pumps. But now you'll see we offer it with our 160 series and 190 series effluents. All of the grinder pumps are offered as well. And then we also include a variety of sewage pumps, our 2-inch sewage pumps, the 280s and 290 series. The other thing that changes this system from others is that now we're also available to offer all these pumps in a variety of different electrical configurations. So some of these pumps, again, can be done in single phase applications, but there are also 3-phase versions of these pumps available as well. As many of you are aware, you know, especially on commercial applications and things like that, a 3-phase pump for the most part is a little more of an efficient motor than a single phase if you have it available. If not, we can use the single phase just like always, but we do have the capabilities of doing 3-phase pumps as well on these. Here's a breakdown of the different pump models that we offer and the different types of electrical configurations. Now, as you can see, some of these pumps are still only available in 230-volt single phase. We do have a couple 115-volt options that are available as well. But for the most part, we have a pretty wide gamut of pumps that we can offer here. This also shows you what the different discharge sizes are, with the exception of the 810 and 815. Those are our progressing cavity grinder pumps. Those pumps are only available, the rail system for those is only available with the 1.25 inch discharge. All the other products will discharge at a 2-inch. So it's pretty common. So pretty common pump pipe size, makes it very easy. You'll see the effluent pumps that we offer. These effluent pumps, because they're effluent or dewatering type applications, these pumps aren't made to pass a large solid, so they're only available with a 3/4 inch solid passing availability, where the 280s and 290 series are sewage pumps, so they're available with a 2-inch solids passing. Another thing that we really like with the QLS system, or I really like with the QLS system, is when you go through that computer program and you design your system and you have your pump selected and your control panels and everything selected, it's going to generate this reference number. And this is kind of what those reference number would look like. This is what the reference number at the end of it would look like. This slide here shows what each number stands for. Again, kind of dating myself, but the olden days, as so to speak, when we would do a system like this, you could have as many as 4 or 5 different part numbers. You had a part number for the pumps, you had a part number for the control panels, you usually had a part number for the floats, and then you had a part number for the basin package, itself. So you could have 4, if you threw an alarm panel or something like that in there, you might have 5 different part numbers. The more part numbers on a PO from the wholesaler is honestly more ability for a mistake to be made, a number gets transposed, something like that. Again, are we sure that that part number for the pump works with the part number for the control panel? The QLS eliminates all that. Really makes it easy, eliminates a lot of mistakes by generating this part number for us. And again, when the wholesaler sends in a purchase order, there's just one number for us. Once that number comes into Zoeller, our customer support and our product support staff have the ability to decipher this part number down into the individual components. One of the things I really haven't touched on, I want to touch real quickly, is also you'll see the options there for the cordage and the electrical. We do offer these systems with the ability to use a junction box on them, or if you're not wanting to use a junction box, you can actually just use longer cord length. So those options are available as well on this. Again, these kind of encompass a lot of varieties and a lot of different things. But the whole reason we developed this system was, A, we wanted to be able to quote these systems very quickly and get the quote out on the job. And we use the most common sizes of pumps and things like that, so that we can also get these out to the customer as quickly as possible as well. Now, we'll talk just real quickly about custom basin and packages. So outside the realm of the QLS, Zoeller does offer a large variety of custom basins and custom packages that can be built by themselves and separate. A lot of you guys know, if that's familiar with our pump line, you know, we have pumps that are larger in size than our 280s and 290 series pumps. We go into our 600 series pumps that go all the way up to 7.5 horsepower, or even in our engineered products, some of the larger grinder pumps that we offer. We can build custom packages for any pump in our line. The custom packages can be a variety of shapes and sizes, just like with the others. We have the capabilities to go as large as 108 inches in diameter and as deep as 35 feet with a fiberglass basin. So we can build those in a variety of shapes and sizes. A lot of times what will happen with these systems, we have people that want to use a detached or an attached or a detached valve box with a system. If you're not familiar, what would happen there is you would have an attachment. We call it a D box that's actually attached to the side of the basin. That's where all your valves are located. That way they can access those valves easily. So it's basically a separate chamber on the system. We can prepackage that. We can build a system just like that. Really, no request is crazy. We've had them all over the years. I like to show this system when I'm giving a basin webinar. I don't know if you can see the date. I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but it says that's August of 2008 in that picture. That basin there was actually going to a job at the Nevada Cancer Institute. It was a 108-inch diameter basin by 144 inches deep. The problem we ran into, and you can see on the 108-inch diameter, it has a large anti-flotation ring down at the bottom, that little square, kind of square-shaped piece up near the cab of that truck. With the anti-flotation ring, the basin was too large to fit into the garage doors at Zoeller, so we could not actually fit it into the factory. We built this basin on the bed of that flatbed truck in the parking lot in August. You'll see there, you can see the lifting lugs that are on the side. That's to aid in installation. You can see the cover there has a big hatch on it. We kind of got lucky that with this job, that some of the system itself, we actually had a cool spell through Kentucky, which is known to happen. Anybody here from Kentucky? It's April. We got 2 inches of snow this morning in Kentucky. But we got a cool spell in August, which doesn't happen very often. So we were able to work outside on this thing. But we've had a variety of different jobs like that. Another one that comes to mind for me is the Georgia Power job, where we had like 7 package systems. On all of those systems, every component in the basin had to have its own tag. So even the rail systems, all the valving had to have a specialized tag affixed to it. They were large basins, and I think we did 7 of them, and each one was crazy. But again, because of our capabilities, we were able to do that and build those systems to the sizes that they needed. Want to talk real quick, if we are talking about custom basins, I also want to just mention in passing, our capabilities with our custom control panels as well. Usually when you get into some of these larger jobs like that, the control panels can get very complicated. They can go from the very simple to the very complicated in a hurry. Things as in how do you turn the pumps on and off, whether they're using floats or a transducer system, PLCs, things like that, event timer or event counters and elapsed time meters. I mean, just like when we talk about the basins, as far as the options are endless, same thing goes for the custom control panels. You'll see the door on this one. Most of our standard panels are a NEMA 4X thermoplastic enclosure, but we can also do stainless steel, things like that, different locking mechanisms. So again, just as with the custom basin systems, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask on controls as well, because we have options out there that, can't tell you they won't cost the crazier they get, but there's not too much we can't do when it comes to the controls themselves and how those systems are set up. Well, just a review, just to kind of go over, again, we talked about our 912s and our 915 sewage systems. You see another picture of the 24 by 24. We are just, again, as a person who covers the South, the 912s, 915s are huge for my market. And I'm extremely, extremely happy and excited to get with these 24 by 24s. We feel like these are a very user-friendly, very well-priced system that should be really, really popular out there. We talked about the QLS series package systems, and we talked about the larger complete custom package systems. I think if anything out of this that we get, we want to talk about it is don't be afraid to ask. Nothing's too crazy out there. We can pretty much cover any variety. I mean, I'm not going to say we can do everything, but it never hurts to ask. You never know what we'll be able to do. This is going to conclude our webinar. I've uploaded some handouts and some information that are available to you guys. Please be sure to check those out. You can download a copy for yourself. The handouts include some information about the QLS systems, and they also include some information about the new 24 by 24 systems. If you think of anything later, anything like that, don't hesitate to jot it down and send it to webinars@zoeller.com. We'll be glad to answer those in a timely manner. Looks like if that's all, I want to thank you guys for your time today. I know it's hard to take a few minutes out of your day, but we really appreciate you taking out the time to learn a little bit from us. If you have any more questions, again, don't hesitate to ask. We thank you for stopping in. Thank you.
Wheel Pump, soluciones que fluyen.